I have a very complicated relationship with my body and about my body and what my body looks like and everything. And I think all women have some sort of strange relationship to their bodies. And I thought it would be great now that we have a very special guest with us, Irma Villafuerte, to really look into what being a woman and living in this body means. And what does that also mean for us in regards to safety?
Hmm.
So, welcome to a new episode.
This is episode 21. Sex, relationships, careers, and just plain life. From the experience of two Latina actresses. Welcome to the Unfiltered.
Hi, I am Vanessa Tomasino.
And my name is Maria Bruson.
And today we have a wonderful guest. Okay, let me explain. She's a Salvadoran like us, but this woman is on fire. She does so many things. Let me just start with the basics. She's a dancer, a choreographer, and also a teacher, an educator. But I think, Irma, the one thing I admire about you is that you are a fighter. You are a woman who fights for inclusion, for justice, for Mother Earth, for our country. I think it's so refreshing to meet someone like you who is so secure in what she knows is right for the world. And this is Irma Villafuerte. Hi, darling.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. I am so happy to be here. I've been following your work for a long time. We're going to work together soon too.
Yes, a movie. We're doing a movie together.
And yeah, I just love this whole show. It's just so edgy. You talk about such great topics, and you both are stunningly strong and inspiring. So,
Listen,
thank you.
I think Maria, even though Maria is the baby here, 27 years old, I think Maria is such a strong woman. You know, I learned so much from her for being so assertive. I'm still learning to be assertive myself, but she has this ability to say, no, I come first, and I'm still struggling with that. So, you know, kudos to you, baby.
It's mutual. Like the most amazing thing about the community we've created here is like meeting women from who I can learn so many different things that I might not have, and vice versa. So it's just really cool to learn about, from you, from everyone that we bring into the show, and people that don't come to the show also. Like the community we have here is really wonderful.
That's true, because we get a lot of emails and messages from women around the world expressing how there are certain subjects that they want to discuss or things that have happened to them that resonate with us. And I always find that if we don't create these sort of spaces, then all these voices, all these ideas that are meant to be shared, they just die off. You know, I think the worst thing we can do as women, and we do this all the time, is stay silent.
Yes.
When we stay silent, we don't understand that literally the woman next to us is suffering exactly the same way, or has gone through something similar, and we're not together. Like it feels like we're alone.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
I want to take advantage of your knowledge that you're here today, because Maria and I have discussed, we both have issues with our bodies. I don't know how you're handling yours right now.
I mean, I feel like it's an ongoing thing. You never really get over it. You know, you learn how to accept yourself and to love yourself, but you know, some days are better than others. Like right now, I feel like I'm glowing. I like how I look at I look at myself in the mirror and I say like I like what I see. Other days are not as easy and are not as good as the one like right now. But the body dysmorphia has been something that I have dealt with my entire life.
Yeah.
Could it be that also you're glowing because of your life right now? Because because there's a correlation that perhaps the way that we feel about our bodies have a lot to do also with our surrounding and what's happening in our life. When we're happy in general about our lives, our bodies are not so much of a problem.
I think it has a lot to do with like my personal life right now. I'm engaged.
She's recently engaged.
So and like I'm happy. I'm at peace, and like I feel like being at peace is the most important thing when, making a life decision this big and this grand. So I think it does have a lot to do with how I look at myself in the mirror right now. However, I mean, I think that I also have been taking care of myself, with my nutrition and like exercise and sleeping. So it's a combination of a lot of things that I've been trying to, like, feed my soul and my body with what it needs and not what it wants. Like sometimes I want a donut, but I think about, like, all right, what do I really need? What's gonna make me feel better?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I don't eat donuts, because I do. I love donuts and cookies and sweets, just as Vanessa.
I do.
I love
But
chocolate.
You love chocolate?
I love
Yeah.
chocolate. Yeah.
We're chocolate lovers here.
Yeah.
We should have brought some chocolate.
That's actually. Yeah. And
So yeah, I mean, it's my life right now. I've been trying to balance like every aspect, so it might be because of that.
Yeah.
You perform with your body, Irma.
Yes.
We're not dancers. I mean, we
Definitely
dance
not.
at home and at the club. But that's part of your job.
Yeah.
How on earth do you handle your relationship with your body?
Yeah. It's a complicated one, and it
Mhm.
has been I think since the beginning of my dance career. And also I also, like, I've had a complicated relationship from the moment I hit puberty, and
Yes.
I got my period when I was 9 years old. I
What?
was so young, and it was an immediate, like, hips, boob, like an immediate
yeah.
very advanced looking body, like
Mm.
I just developed quite quickly, and I was taller, and I'm short now, but I somehow, like,
You
just
were
grew.
taller
Yeah,
then.
I was a child, I was just taller than kids my age, and so it was a very interesting experience for me. But growing up in El Salvador, because I live in Toronto and Toronto,
Mhm.
growing up in El Salvador and being that developed so young was traumatizing because of the
Mhm.
sexual, like, harassment on the streets, and
Yeah.
it's vulgar, and it's demeaning, and my family, we never had a car, we were always taking public transportation, and so I immediately began to have body dysmorphia. I hated the fact that my breasts were big. I hated the fact that I had hips. I hated, like, that I had thick legs. Like, it was just too much for me to handle at such a young age.
Yeah.
And when I went into dance, having a curvy body was a problem
Mhm.
because the dance aesthetic, that classical Western look, and then
Ballerina
the
look,
ballerina
yeah.
look, and then that look was kind of adopted inside of the salsa community, because I was a salsa dancer first.
Wow.
And we had to wear very particular outfits, and I was very curvy, so I was, like, hypersexualized with these, like, very
Yeah.
particular outfits. And as a young child, like, because I started dancing when I was 12, salsa, and it was complicated. Like, my mom was like, why are you wearing that in, like, the middle of the Sky Dome and the Blue Jays Latin nights? And, like, I was wearing, like, bustiers with, like, fringes, and like doing this, like, dancing a merengue song and whatever. And I was 14 years old.
Wow.
And my breasts, were bigger than the other girls who had smaller breasts, and costumes would fit them differently, and they weren't made to fit my body that was curvy, and it was frustrating. And the comments on my curves, I've never been skinny. Like, I was skinny as a child, and I've been always very athletic or fit. And curvy or juicy. Like, I always say, I'm a juicy person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I like that.
We're gonna like adopt that term.
Juicy.
We're juicy.
Yeah, like, I have a juicy personality, I have
Yeah.
a juicy body, I have juicy love, so that's just how I am. And I always struggled inside of the dance community with how they, or the norm was trying to shape my body. I got told so many times from dance teachers, well, if you lose a little bit of weight on your legs, I'm like, I can't lose weight on my legs, it's muscle. And I just, like, I can't, like, it just, I don't want to.
Then how do you do that? It's like, okay, legs, you're gonna lose 2 pounds. Work for me. Like, how do you lose 2?
Yeah, like go to the nutritionist and tell him, like, I need a diet for my legs. Like, that
Yeah.
doesn't work that way.
And to be honest, like, at 16, like, I share this in certain spaces that I feel safe, but I did have a little bit of, like, an eating disorder. There was a period of, like, about 8 months where I was just eating carrots, and, like, I would only allow myself to have like a bagel with cream cheese, and then I was eating mostly carrots, and I lost a lot of weight. You know, and I was like small, but I was hungry, you know, and I was dancing, and yeah, like things were fitting me more, like, and I was able to feel a little bit more comfortable in my body because I thought I looked and felt like maybe the other girls, but then the reality is that I was abusing my body, you know, and my self-esteem, my self-worth. So, you know, that's been my relation, and that has followed me up until now. Like, of course, as we get older, we kind of begin to accept our bodies more. Some women do, or folks do more than others. But yeah, it's been it's been definitely a journey that I'm constantly faced with, the constant sexualization of my body. And I feel like my sexuality and my sensuality is mine. It does not belong to anybody else, not to their eyes, not to their thoughts. You know, it is mine. I choose how I want to show my body, how I want to express my body, right? So,
but that's the issue, right? Like, it comes back to, this is what I just recently dealt with that. I was seeing this person, and one of the complaints was about my pictures where I'm showing my body. And the complaint was, why are you showing your body to the world? Why do you need validation from men? Why do you want attention from men? And I thought to myself, my pictures are not for me. Like, what is it in your brain that is telling you that the way I dress, the way I post my pictures, it's because I want attention from men? Why can't it be that I want to feel good about myself? Why is it that I want to try outfits because I want to see how I look in those outfits? I don't care if a man is going to say, "Oh, Vanessa, you look amazing." I don't give a fuck. Like, seriously. But for him, there was no other option. He was like, women post pictures like that because they want the male gaze. It's amazing. And it comes back what you were saying about sexualization. They see a body like yours, like mine, like Maria's, and they're like, oh, she's so sexual. Why is it sexual? We didn't choose to have these breasts.
My butt.
In your case, your butt. You know, it's not like we ordered them. You know, I mean, at least I haven't ordered any piece. Like, this is just me, right? But why do they think that our bodies can tell them whether we're looking for someone, if we need validation or attention, if we're over sexualized, or if we're good people or bad people? Like, in some cases, they will say you're a prostitute. You know, if you dress, like, I know that a dress that may look really good on a skinny girl, a tall skinny girl, if I wear that dress, you know, everything's hanging out. I look different.
And suddenly it's like, oh, look, she just wants attention.
Exactly.
Because your body's curvy. And and that's not the case. Like,
I want the dress.
I just
like,
want the damn dress. I want to stop making dresses for one body type, homies. If you don't want me to, like, you know, it's hard. It's really hard, and it's frustrating to navigate the world and people's perception on curvy bodies. One of the things that I get as a dancer, I get told as a dancer, and I don't think people realize, so I don't feel like, because I've gotten it from all people, men, women, non-binary, whatever. But I feel like folks that are non-binary and gender non-conforming are less likely to comment on body because
their own journeys.
Because of their own journeys. But people have commented on the way I move as like being sensual and sexy. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be sexy or sensual. I move my hips a lot because I you know, a lot of the aesthetic that I'm interested in is activating certain chakras, moving in certain elements with certain elements like earth and water. Like, I'm very connected to these elements, and they're I'm interested in curves and spirals, and which are also like part of earth, you know,
and part of our culture too. Like, who you are as a Latina woman.
Exactly. And so, and just like, it's just the way, like, if you look at how my mom moves, you know, it's also, you know, my ancestors, like my mom walks, like she walks with her hips like side to side. She has no hips, you know, she's like this little tiny cute, you know, woman who has no hips, and you know, but she just walks like that. And I'm like, it's also part of my my DNA that I adopted the way that I move, and so it's just like, why does it have to look sexual? If it was another person who was slimmer, who had a particular body type, would they be told that they're dressed, they're moving in this sexy, sensual way? Probably not.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
What are the definitions of being sexy? I mean, people of color, as Latinas, African American women, or African women, they're constantly being hypersexualized. And not just for our bodies, but because the colonial legacy says that we're also savages. They call us
Yeah.
red blood, right?
Yeah.
And so it's this idea that the Europeans are blue blood and they're cold and they're rational, and we're irrational, like childlike, right?
Yeah.
And so women are savages, and so this idea that if anything culturally comes from a Latina woman, what's the compliment I always get in Canada? Oh, you're so sassy.
Oh my God, that
Right?
drives me
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Sassy and spicy
Yeah.
and sexy.
Spicy,
I'm like,
spicy.
what?
I hate the spicy.
Spicy!
I hate spicy.
Or
Right?
feisty.
Yeah.
You're like,
Feisty.
you have attitude. I'm like, why? Like, it's just so weird, Yeah.
And so they're like, you're fiery. And suddenly, just for being in this Latina body, there is a definition of who we are
Yeah.
as, in this case, not even as humans, because they don't see us as humans.
Yeah.
They see us as sexual objects.
Yeah.
It's the categorization of a white woman. She's too elegant. She's too poised. She's cold. Let's go with a Latina because she's spicy,
Yeah.
right? And and we can't escape that.
No, it's hard. Like the archetypes are like very like we have like they're like placed upon us. I once had a conversation with in the dance community, being like, why is it that strong, curvy bodies can't be gentle? Can't be can't do gentle choreography? Why do I have to be always doing the hard choreography? Like as in like the beast, the warrior, the I can do that. Actually, I can do that well, and I feel it. But I'm also gentle, and I'm also soft.
This is the exact same reason why aren't there Latinas doing romantic comedies in movies?
Yeah, it's always like the Latina ex-girlfriend or the crazy Latina or the
best
loud
friend.
Latina, like I admire Sofia Vergara and our colleagues that have paved the way for Latinas, because they were the Jennifer Lopez. They were the first ones who like started in the industry in Hollywood, like a white male dominated industry. But they were always enclosed in the roles of like the crazy loud Latina. It's just, I don't understand it. Like you said, like why can't a Latina be the soft and gentle and the lead in the movie in a rom-com?
Yeah,
it's weird. It's crazy.
Why can't we be Cinderella?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Or Snow White. Snow White is the gentlest person in the world.
Yeah.
She's singing with the birds, and she's like pure in soul. By the way, she was like 16, right, in that movie. So she was illegal. I'm just putting it out there to the world.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she was a child. Well, the same with the Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
The Little Mermaid's a teenager.
Every princess.
Oh dear.
Every princess,
Oh dear.
like, it's
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
Whole nother topic.
So Latinas cannot, for some reason, we are not soft. And there are lots of memes and lots of TikToks about Latinas being crazy, right? Of saying, oh, white men love Latinas, but they're also scared of them, because revenge if you break up with them. It's so weird.
It is weird. And you know what's another thing that's weird is just like the colonial lens on what's angelic and heavenly.
Yes.
And what's pure and innocent and worthy.
Yeah.
And as Latin American women, Indigenous women, Black women, we experience a lot of labeling. We experience toxic masculinity insignificantly.
Yes.
And we have to be constantly like regulating the thermometer of how much push and boundaries do we put, because if we put boundaries on certain situations, in whether it's work environments, at home, at in a relationship, in friendships, you're seen as
a bitch.
problematic. Yeah. you're seen as disruptive, you're seen as problematic, you're seen as a bitch, you're seen as difficult because you set boundaries. But when a person who is like comes across as heavenly and soft and white and this, like, I feel like they get him way more easier, and it's very unfair,
It is.
you know. And it's really hard to like navigate, especially in the north, like in Canada. Like I live in Canada, and I find it very hard, especially in like in a culture that is so stripped from emotion.
Yeah.
You know,
it's almost that they are completely alienated from who they are and from their earth once again. And this is something you and I have talked about,
yeah,
because it's part of like the movie that we're doing, this idea that the colonial legacy is moving people around. Like these white settlers, Canada is not their land either.
no,
Like they're not from there,
no,
you know. And so I think perhaps this disconnect
oh yeah,
of their bodies and
Yeah.
their, you know, spirit is also attached with this idea that it's not their land.
no,
It's, you know,
yeah,
just like you, when you come to El Salvador, and El Salvador is, this is your mother earth, right? You connect when you come here. I
Yeah.
remember being in Canada too, and I would fly to El Salvador to connect and ground myself when I felt lost,
yeah,
you know. And perhaps all these white settlers and all the new generations of immigrants, you know, like the Chinese community, the Filipino community, they're so far away from their land that it also must have an effect on their subjectivity and their identity.
yeah. Like, and I just feel like because of white privilege, like I just feel like whiteness navigates the world so differently
Oh,
than
yeah.
a racialized body.
Yes.
And I like it doesn't align, like it doesn't, this like stiff lip Euro British very particular archetype that is very much embedded in the culture,
Mhm.
or lack of culture sometimes in Canada, does not reflect the indigenous culture. And as
Mhm.
someone who's has, you know, I've shared spaces creatively with indigenous communities and indigenous artists, like there's a lot of more of embrace,
Mhm.
even though it's a community that is still hurting,
Yeah.
but there's still so much embrace. And it reminds me of Salvadorians.
Mhm.
Like, and you know, we've gone through so much trauma. Oh my God, this country has gone through so much trauma.
Mhm.
And yet our people are still able to embrace and to give love and to be generous inside of their hurt, inside of, you know, the fractures, and with a surrounding and an
Yeah.
environment that is violent, you know,
Mhm.
sometimes, or seeking to glow.
Mhm.
And the problem is, I feel like sometimes we're just not connecting to land enough. The land is actually there to heal us.
Mhm.
The land knows how to heal itself.
Yes.
So it's the land actually is giving us a lesson every day, but we ignore the land, and then we are out of balance, right?
Yeah. When did we disconnect from the land?
Yeah, definitely colonization, war,
Mhm.
you know. I feel like this idea of, you know, the enamorment of the North, you know, and what that means. The American dream idea.
Yeah, which is it's not been the American dream for like decades.
I
Like
know.
the US or Canada is not what it used to be. And you know, if you turn on the news and see everything that's happening up north, I think to myself like why would I want to go to the US? Like really?
Mhm.
Why? Like
Yeah.
if I think about like maybe one day like having a family, like I would feel so scared to send my kids to school.
Mhm.
I would feel so scared of, you know, forgetting to lock my front door one day and like some crazy asshole
Mhm.
decides to come in and shoot everyone. Like it's things that I actually think about. Like so like people still here have this idea of the US, of Canada, of like immigrating up north, and they forget about what we have here.
Yeah.
And like it really is a really good country and like really good land, and we take it for granted
Yeah.
a lot. Like really, it's really bad.
Even the weather. We
the
take for granted
weather, I know.
Yeah.
Like
The- yeah.
we have beaches an hour away, 45 minutes away, like, and we don't really treasure that, or like, take advantage of the nature we have here, and like the community we have here, and family and friends, so
The fertility of the land
yeah.
itself, like that's a huge resources.
Mhm.
The water we have, like we can sustain ourselves, here. But it's just those skills have been lost, and that's an impact of colonization, losing the skills of connecting with the land and being able to produce the things that we need in order to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of bringing everything now, even beans, we're not producing the basic things that we used to produce for survival. We're bringing beans from Miami because it's cheaper.
That's wild. That's so wild.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Another thing I feel with us is the disconnect from our bodies in our sexuality. It's something that I struggle with. I mean, we've talked about this with Maria. We were both abused at 16 sexually. And for me, that was a disaster. I mean, it really set a precedent for a further disconnect to my body. It was, like you mentioned, the whole idea of maturing and your body changing. I already had an issue with that. Even though, it's strangely enough, I didn't get my boobs until I was 23, 22. I had no boobs before. And this is why when I left El Salvador, I was flat chested. And then when I came back 3 or 4 years later, I had boobs and people thought I had surgery.
That's so interesting.
Isn't it weird? The thing is, I was an athlete. I was an athlete. And then when I went to Canada, I stopped like exercising. And then suddenly, poof, they just came out. And when I came back, everyone was like, what are those? Especially because in my family, everyone's flat chested. It's really wild. Anyway. So I was already uncomfortable with, my body changing. And then that happened, So being uncomfortable with your body, being a Latina, and then being a survivor of sexual abuse, you really struggle with this body, right? Where you go, what can I do? What can I do with this? Even in relationships, even when I was engaged, in different marriages, I had to struggle with that. I had to tell my husbands, listen, this is a barrier for me. Let's just, take it slow, And I say, and as an artist, like in your case as well, and Maria too, because we're actresses, we have scenes that we have to do, let alone sexuality in the intimate settings with your fiance or your partner and, my ex-partners. I don't have a partner, ex-partners. Let that aside. But then how do we creatively put ourselves in those situations if we're already disconnected from our body in our personal lives?
Something that I find,
and this episode is over. Thank you, everybody.
I'm a burlesque performer too.
Okay, explain what that is, because a lot of Salvadorans don't know what burlesque is.
So burlesque is like, it's stripping,
Mhm.
but way more.
I love it. It's stripping.
It's stripping, but there's an artistic component to it. We strip down to pasties and like little undies, or maybe just like a onesie. Like, depends on the burlesque performer. There's feathers, like Dita Von Teese. There's like feathers.
Oh, Dita is fantastic.
There's flowers. I'm thinking of all the things that I do. But anyways, I'm a burlesque performer for this troupe called Le Femme Fatale, Women of Color troupe in Toronto, based in Toronto. And when I found burlesque, I felt amazing.
Really?
Because I began to take off my clothes in front of the people I chose to take off my clothes in, which are queer communities. I perform in queer spaces only. I do not perform in heteronormative spaces.
Really?
So yeah, I began to like remove my clothes and create burlesque pieces that were political, that talked about femicides, that talked about my grief, that talked about being in love, that talked about divorce, because I'm divorced.
Join the club.
Yes.
You don't worry. You're safe. Nothing's gonna happen to you. You'll be happily married forever.
Yeah. Oh my God, that talked about sensuality. That talked about desire. So cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it was about empowering my body again. And it felt just so amazing to choose how I wanted to be sensual, to play with this pasties, because I love making pasties that are flowers, and just to be more.
Do you make them?
I make them myself.
What?
Yes, I do.
Ay, Maria, we should try this.
I think so.
Can you teach us?
Oh yeah, I would.
I mean, not to make the pasties, like to do burlesque.
Oh yes.
Yeah?
It's a tease. You tease because you're fully dressed, and then you begin teasing, and
That's so cool.
you dance to the music, and then you create a routine. It's a choreography.
But this is exactly what I'm telling you. See how we connected to your body now? The idea for me to do burlesque or anything at this point, it gives me like anxiety.
Yeah.
Why is it giving me anxiety when it should be freeing me and getting me in touch with who I am?
For me, it's like, you know what? I feel like if the moment you start thinking it as a big fuck you, like especially in La Femme Fatale, we have women of all sizes, all colors, all walks of life. We have beautiful, juicy, like hardcore women that they just strip down and they're like, and it's like burlesque is burla. You're making fun of the audience, be like, yeah, you like this? Well, get this, like it's just this idea of being like, this is my body. I love it. I love it. It's colorful. It's beautiful. And that takes time to arrive to that. But I find it very empowering because you're choosing how to tease. You're choosing what to take off, how to take off, and what you want to say with your choreography. And one of the things that I hate most is when people comment. When people comment and they don't do it like, they're like, oh, wow, that person has really big breasts. Oh my God, did you see that person's ass? Like, why are you commenting on people's bodies? Like, you don't have consent to comment and to talk about people's bodies.
But that's so common though. Like, it's so common for people to comment on, and not just in burlesque or stripping, or in general.
People feel entitled to like just comment on people's like appearances, and it's strange because like you will feel bad if someone says something about your appearance, but sometimes we forget about like why should I say anything about how someone else looks? Like maybe they love themselves and maybe they're happy with themselves. Like what gives me like the chance to like comment on someone else's appearance? It's strange.
It is strange. I have a question, and I don't know how you guys feel about it because I don't know how I feel about it.
Okay.
And it's the thing when people like, I know it feels nice when people are like, you're beautiful, but I'm just curious. I'm like, I don't know how to feel about being told constantly that I'm beautiful, unless it's like an intimate partner. I kind of want to be my intimate partner to be like, you're fucking stunning. Like, you're gorgeous and you're like the best thing that was born on this earth. I'm like, thanks. Like, yes, I feel that way every day. Thanks.
Yeah.
Even though you know that there's many stunning, gorgeous people, but So I'm just curious about like, as much as people can make a comment, be like, oh, your breasts, which I have had even in the theater community, I remember the first time I went topless in a workshop that was about crossing boundaries of the body, and it was for performance art with this amazing artist Violeta Luna. But one of the participants, like I said, I'm like, one of the things that like I loved is that I was able to find my nudity as a form of power inside of the work that we were exploring. He's like, yeah, because you have really big boobs. He said that to me, and I was like, wow, you just took my power away because you didn't even see the fact that what that meant for me, and in me saying it, now you're sexualizing my body, and that, which is completely unacceptable, unprofessional, and just harmful. But like, and this is another actor who was also a performance artist who also used nudity, and I was. Yeah, so I'm just curious about also like not only the negative comment, but I'm curious about the positive comment, like someone saying, "Oh, I just like really like your body's looking like this, or your body's looking like that," and they're trying to compliment you, but I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean,
you go first.
It happened to me just yesterday. I'm also a makeup artist, a pro makeup artist, and I was doing this this lady's makeup. And she was talking about how her daughters were like too skinny. I'm like, no, they look beautiful. No, they're too skinny. I don't like them when they're too skinny. I'm like, well, do you want them to be like, a little chubbier? And she's like, no, I want them to be like you, like you're a little more um rellenita.
Fuller.
You're fuller. I like when they look like you. I'm like, I mean, I don't know if that's a compliment. I don't know if
Yeah.
like I should feel any better.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously we shouldn't feel like we're walking on broken eggshells, but
Yeah.
still we should have like a filter, on what we
Yeah.
say, because you don't really know what other people's going through or
Yeah.
how they see their own bodies. Like for me, my weight has been a problem for my whole life. It's been a huge problem. To this day, it is a problem, and I feel like it's gonna be for the rest of my life. It's gonna be a problem. So for someone to say like, "Oh, that I'm fuller," when I'm trying so hard, like I wake up, I exercise, I eat healthy, maybe it was a compliment to her, but to
It
me,
was
it's
triggering
not.
to you. Yeah.
And then the other side of the coin, when people say like, "Oh, you're so pretty," like I'm a terrible compliment receiver, um, because I mean I know that I'm not ugly, but I don't see myself like other people see me, I guess.
Mhm.
And the only person that I care about what he thinks is like my boyfriend. Like
Yeah.
like you said, like he reassures me and tells me like that he loves me and that I'm beautiful and whatever. But then like with other people, I don't know why I don't see what they see. So it's really hard for me to receive compliments and like to take them in. We try to work on that in class
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
but it's just so hard,
Yeah.
because beauty is subjective.
It is.
So for the lady yesterday, she was probably giving me like a huge compliment. And for me, it was like, oh my gosh, I need to lose like 10 pounds then. Like
Yeah.
that was my instinct, was to think, look, I need to lose weight.
Mm.
And let me just say, I've told Irma, I've told this woman 1,000 times. I mean, fuck.
No,
Hold
please
on.
don't say
No,
it.
I will. I will. I have to.
No.
I have to. If the audience needs this. She's stunning.
Yeah.
Like,
can't.
you are so beautiful, Maria. Like, we talked about this in another episode. I once was saying that to a director. He's like, "You're a lesbian," because I was complimenting her too much. It's like, what's wrong with being a woman who is secure in her femininity to say that another woman is beautiful? Maria, you're stunning. I know you don't see it that way, but the world does see it. You are an extremely beautiful woman. But the issue here is you have to love yourself,
Yeah.
and that's like my segue to your question. How do I feel about compliments? Listen, at this point in my life, I don't believe shit from anybody. I am so angry, I am so bitter, that at this point, if any man or woman tells me, woman, no, because I know they're coming from a good place. If any man tells me I'm beautiful, I'll be like, sure, honey, yeah, what do you want from me? Do you want money? Like, I don't trust anybody at this point. But right. But that being said, I have come to terms with certain aspects of my life, which includes physically, my face. I don't care anymore. Maybe because I'm 41, I don't care. It's like I used to not like it. I was like, oh, my cheeks are too big, my nose is strange, blah blah blah. I don't care anymore. I don't, and I wouldn't want to change anything about my face. Nothing. Okay, now my body. Um, I was also anorexic. I was bulimic. That's why I left ballet, just because I was bullied so
Same.
much. You were bullied as well.
I was a dancer.
Yeah.
And then everyone in my family is very skinny. Like my mom's skinny, my cousin's skinny. I am like the big one in the family. Many years I was traumatized by that. And then suddenly something happened last year. Therapy. Aside from
Shot.
therapy, shots. Something happened aside from therapy where I just realized that the only love I needed was myself. I no longer wanted the validation from my parents or from my partners. I just needed my validation or my love. And at that point, I just looked at myself in the mirror. I've had 2 kids. I have a C-section scar and everything. And the mom belly. Of all of the times that your body stretches to fit a human being. And then I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, this is it. This is who I am. Like I don't care anymore. I also have like in my legs, I have those veins. Yeah, that I've had since the varicose veins. I've had them since I was born. Like it's genetic. I have them forever. But then since I had babies, they got bigger, right? I used to hate them, and now I don't. They're like a roadmap to my life. Like I look
Oh,
at
I
them.
love that.
Yeah, I look at them. I'm like, it's a roadmap. That's where I've been. That's where I'm. That's my history. That's everything I've done. So I don't care anymore. And I've noticed that also the partners that I've had, they don't even give a fuck. Like they don't notice things that we complain about.
Yeah.
Like they really don't. Which begs the question: is it then why is it that we're so hard on ourselves when the people that are supposed to love us, they don't have a problem with any of this, right? Anyway, so how do I feel about the compliments? The ones that I believe, the ones that I choose to believe, I I just say thank you.
Mm.
I don't feel good about it in the sense that I won't feel like I'm special or better than anyone else, but I will definitely take it in
Yeah.
and be like, thank you for appreciating or validating my life, not me as the woman, but my life, my existence, right? And I will take it. That's it. But I won't be glowing as in like, oh, I'm pretty, I am sexy. No, no, no. I'll just say thank you. And I only say thank you. I used to say thank you. I took a shower today. Thank you. I'm wearing heels. Thank you.
Like trying to explain yourself,
Exactly.
why you look good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or try to justify why I look like this. No, now I just say thank you.
Yeah, the ones that are hard for me is the, oh my God, you look so good. You lost weight or something? Are you
that's
working
hard.
out more?
Yes. Those are hard for me too because of the losing the weight.
Yeah, and I'm just like, fuck, like, sorry, am I supposed to, can I swear?
No,
You
you
can't,
sure.
yeah.
Unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
Okay. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that I'm gonna take that as a compliment
It's
because
hard.
I wasn't feeling bad when if I had the extra weight or the extra juice, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, whatever. It's and it's just very hard. I don't mind, yeah, like from some people getting compliments. It is, I actually, to be honest, it's still hard for me to get a compliment, to say thank you. I'm just like, oh, thanks, like, I
The
get
cringe.
like,
It's a
I
cringy
it's like a
moment.
cringe moment.
Yeah, unless it's like a partner and it's like, yeah, bitch, I am beautiful, so
Yes, queen.
because it makes it sexy.
Yeah.
But I'm also someone who says, you're beautiful. I like to tell people
Yes.
that they're beautiful. And it's not necessarily always like a physical thing for me. It's actually their spirit and their soul.
That's where I wanted to get. Like for me, I feel like I don't usually compliment someone's appearance, but I compliment their aura. Like I was about to like go there.
Yeah.
Cause I love your energy. Like it gives me
We
so
love
much.
you,
It gives me so
Irma.
much
So sweet.
peace. Like it's there's so much wisdom in your words, and the tone of your voice is very soothing, and I feel like safe. So I usually compliment like people's energy. Yeah,
Yes.
I compliment their energy because I feel like we're so much more than how we look.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes I complain about something about my body, and then good old TikTok like shows me like this like videos of people who don't have both arms and how they live happily and how they manage to do everything with just their legs, how they prepare a sandwich with their legs and eat it with their feet. And I'm like, we like tomorrow I can be in a car accident and like this goes away, like what's left is your spirit, your soul, your energy. So I feel like I like to when I compliment, I gravitate towards someone's soul and their energy and their aura and how they make me feel when I'm around them.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same. I don't know what happens to you girls, but for me is when I see you or I see my friends, I don't see if they've gained or lost weight. Like I see the light. I see your color, your energy. I go like, I'm so happy to see you. I will rarely go, you've lost weight or you've gained. Like I don't see it. They have to say like, hey, did you notice I lost weight? I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. You lost weight. But I see, it's almost like I see the essence of the person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in my brain, I'm like, if I see the essence of that person, then when they see the same with me, like why am I worrying about me if I don't see it on them? It's strange
Yeah.
how we do that because I don't see it.
Yeah, no, like I agree. Like I also see like their energy and their light, and someone's like someone's lightness and what they exude when they're going through something, really you can feel it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, if someone's in there, like they've been working out and they're like, I really want to lose weight or whatever, and they're actually like vocalizing them, and I'll acknowledge it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
You
like,
look
oh
good.
yeah, you
But
look
that's
good. Like, oh, I
different.
can see that it's your body's changing from the work that you're doing.
But
you
it's
know?
different because
Yeah.
it's not a compliment based on their physical appearance
Yeah.
only. It's a compliment about their strength,
Their
their
effort.
their
efforts,
discipline, their
yeah.
resilience, and their happiness.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just you look good now.
Yeah.
No, it's yes, you are an amazing person for fighting for what you want. It's a
Mhm.
different
I love
compliment,
that.
right? It's
I'm not
different.
stealing that.
Take it away, Beba. You know, Maria said something about beauty and subjectivity. I don't know. There's a play. I don't know if you saw it in Toronto, but there was a play that was in Canada. I saw it in Vancouver. It was an African play. It's a musical.
Mm.
Umoja. Umoja. Oh my God, how did I remember?
I don't know.
Spirit is guiding me. Woo! It's called Umoja.
Okay.
It's a beautiful musical. It's with African actors and everything. It changed my life. Like I was front row, I remember, and these beautiful women, dark skin, and they probably weighed over 200 pounds, but they moved in such a way that I just said, that's what a woman is supposed to look like. I just remember that I was very young. I was 26 at the time or 25. And I had struggled with my weight forever. And I hated myself, everything, my face, my hair, I hated everything about my life. And then I saw these women that I had never seen in my life. Just the energy, the way they connected, the way they moved on stage, the way the men looked at them, not the audience men, but the men who were performing with them. And I thought to myself, this is a different sort of femininity that we in the West are not exposed to. Here we are in this rat race trying to get thinner and blonde and white and and then there's this other world of women who are beautiful. I mean, beautiful. I cannot explain. I just saw, and I was front row, that's why I'm doing the high. I'm looking at these women going, they are stunning. Why are they not in magazines? Why are they not in movies? Why are they not in catwalks? It changed me forever. Because it means that, first of all, that we're not being exposed to the rest of the world.
Is lacking.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
And it's also what you said earlier, how you as a colored person thought about how much you could push yourself before somebody would say, she's a crazy Latina or she's a problematic Latina. How you checked yourself, which is something Michel Foucault, the French philosopher, said, that it's very important that we control ourselves, we police ourselves. Before, back in pre-capitalist times, the sovereign, whoever was the king or whatever, they would punish you for being a witch or for being whatever. They would punish you in the middle of a park, right? They would hang you, they would cut you, they would do whatever just to punish you as an example. And everybody would be like, oh, we can't do that because we would get killed. Right. Okay. Now, fast forward to modern times when capitalism starts to creep in, right? We start policing ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
There's a rationale of this is right, this is wrong. This is a good citizen, this is a not good citizen. And for colored people, is the struggle of being less colored and more white, right? Playing the rules of the white people because they have rules legally. I mean, the entire legal system is based on colonialism. That's why indigenous people can't fight for their lands, because their lands come from the narrative, the storytelling, the songs, that they're not admissible in court. So whoever's going to own the land, whoever wrote, this is my land, and signed it and with a document. We're destined to lose this game. You realize that, right? Anyway, so
it's designed for us
to fail. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I like what you're saying about the witch hunt, because we do live in a modern day witch hunt.
Of course we do. Of course we do.
Like where women, racialized folks, are all ding 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 ding.
This happens every time in the show.
Just like just
arriba.
just women, racialized women. are just put in a position of, it's no longer, it's gaslighting us to believe
Yes.
that it's our problem.
Our perception of the world is wrong.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
But here's the thing, Irma. Why I know the answer, but I want to hear your answer. Why is it that they want to control us, not just through narrative, but through our bodies?
Yeah.
But because a witch hunt, that's what it is.
Yes.
It's a way of controlling. Silvia Federici wrote a book about it.
Yeah.
In her way, she's a Marxist, so she's she wrote specifically about the economy and all that stuff and the order. But what are your thoughts on that? Like,
Well, we're Mother Earth.
Mhm.
Like Mother Earth is here,
Mhm.
like us
Mhm.
here. We're bearers of life. We are nurturers. We are caregivers. We are brilliant people. Like
women are pretty
women
special.
are so special, and you know what? Two-spirit people are magical as
Yeah.
well.
Mhm.
And in before colonization, pre-colonization, the weight of community was in the hands of indigenous women,
Yes.
of the matriarchs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the
Mhm.
matriarchs were the ones who were ruling. The matriarchs were the ones who were guiding,
Yes.
protecting, shaping the land, and shaping shaping community and families. And
Yes.
so the moment women have a say, it definitely threatens patriarchy.
That's it.
And patriarchy is what keeps the world. I don't care what people think, but patriarchy is what's keeping the world in the state of imbalance.
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And they've
Yeah.
co-opted us to think that it has nothing to do with that. The same with they've co-opted us to think that, for example, having children is our natural path. You know, the whole witch hunt is this idea that rebellious women, because women are rebellious by nature, we are, we shake things up when we know something's wrong. The whole witch hunt is to make sure that we don't go out of line,
Yeah.
that there's fear, and that we police ourselves to be the correct, or we perform the correct type of femininity
Yeah.
rather than be disruptive, right?
Yeah.
And so what happens is we all do that in our, even I consider myself a very rebellious person, but even I police myself. What can I say, how can I dress, things like that, right? So it affects a lot of people. Now the thing is, if women, and we've said that before in this podcast, if women would come together to realize that this toxic masculinity, this toxic patriarchy that not only affects women, but it also affects men,
It does.
is affecting the world. If we would stop policing ourselves and just unite, and with men, with our allied men, the world would be different. Not only women have a higher percentage in the population, we're over 50%. We are also the ones who have alternative options to sustainable living.
Yeah.
We just need to get our shit together. And I don't, once again, before men start hating on us, this is not a podcast hating men. And today, it's not a podcast hating white people. Get it together.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Yeah, like check your white fragility. Like
Yes, check your white fragility and your male fragility.
Yeah, and your male
right?
fragility. Like it's, and just to be clear, white supremacy, we're all complicit to that.
All of us.
Including
All of us.
racialized people. And that's something that we have to consistently navigate and understand what it means.
Yes.
And it's our responsibility to change that narrative. It's our responsibility to look inside of ourselves and how we contribute to these imbalanced ways of functioning in the world, which include patriarchal narratives, toxic masculinity, white supremacy that is embedded in all of us, because we are all subjects and objects, and we are like the birth of colonization, sadly. And we've been stripped from, our ancestral journeys and our ancestral people and our culture and our land. So yeah, it's our job to constantly be navigating, deconstructing, and unpacking
Mhm.
within ourselves in order to be able to function properly in the healing of the world.
Yeah.
And it's not about us healing the world so we can see and benefit
Mhm.
from the change, because it takes generations to heal the world,
Mhm.
to heal humanity.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
This episode can be like a checkpoint for our listeners to say, like, let's check my white
privilege.
fragility, my masculinity, fragile masculinity, and everything, because it's always good to do a checkup. Like, where do I stand in this fight? Like, am I an ally? Am I, and
Yeah.
like, if you're
Mhm.
not an ally,
Yeah.
and if you're like in the middle, then you're not an ally. Like, it's either it's one or the other.
Yes. Yes.
And like you said, it's important to get together with like all the women and our men allies and our queer allies as well.
Yes.
Because
And
so I don't know if you've seen on social media right now, like the trans fight that's been going on. It's really problematic, and
Mhm.
it's really, it worries me, because if the same trans and LGBTQ community are against each other, then like what's left for us?
Mhm.
Like, we need to actually get our shit together, like Irma said, and do something, and heal.
Yeah.
It's not about, I don't feel like it's a fight anymore. It's healing. We need to heal generations of wounds, of
Yeah.
pain, of war.
Yeah.
So that's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, that's what happens with neoliberalism. It pins all of us against each other because there's a hierarchy.
Yeah.
Who's at the top? The privileged white men, right?
Yeah.
Who's at the bottom? The indigenous, trans, or queer communities, right?
Yeah.
So what happens in this hierarchy is that we're all stuck at the bottom and we all want to climb up. And so you don't want to help that person that's below you in the hierarchy because you're like, no, I want to whiten myself. I want to better myself. So you don't want to go below, And so all these fights or all these lack of unions they come from that, from our own policing on wanting to be a better citizen according to the colonial legacy on who is a good citizen. So it's not. And now with the queer community, I can't speak because I'm not part of like I'm not embedded in that community. I'm an ally, but I don't have the voice to make a blanket statement. But what I can say from the neoliberal experience of being a colored woman is that there is so much fight to say this is our subjectivity identity, and you want to hold that flag, and then anybody that is not that, it's a different category. See, when instead what we should be doing is all of the different categories should unite, regardless of where we are in this hierarchy. We should unite. But right now it's all about inclusion, but it's a form of inclusion almost like the toxic positivity. That if you have a toxic positivity, it's this idea that you're like, oh, Mother Earth and nature and blah blah blah. But then when you are not talking, your actions say otherwise.
Yeah.
You're hitting people,
Yeah.
you're cutting down trees, you're right.
Yeah.
So we can't do that either.
Yeah.
That's not inclusion. That is a poser.
Yeah.
That's fake.
Yeah. And it's like, I call that, like, I think I read it somewhere, but like the moment you stay silent, you're choosing the side of the oppressor.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
There's some. It's very clear what you need to do. You either fight, you're on the right side of history, or right, or if you stay silent, you're complicit.
Yeah.
You're complicit. That's
Yeah.
what it is. And for the audience that get riled up, saying the Unfiltered hates men and white people now, let me just say this. This is like an explanation. Think of it this way. What we're criticizing are the ideas that have been taken, or the knowledge that has been used as rationale to create structures of oppression. Whether you're white or black, it doesn't matter. If you adopt those practices, you are an oppressor, regardless of the color of your skin. So instead of saying, I hate black people, I hate white people, think, I hate the idea of oppression, regardless of who applies that idea or who practices any sort of action based on an idea. That's how you should see it. It's not that we're hating on people. Some people choose to oppress others or to use this rationale to marginalize communities, which is a problem. But we are not against the people.
Yeah.
We are against the systematic movement of knowledge that is adopted by certain people that gives the legitimate action to oppress. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So we're not hating men, women, or people of color, or white people.
No, I mean, think that the bottom line is that we're all complicit. We all have a responsibility.
Of course we are.
Yeah.
Of course
we're all
we are.
complicit, and
Mhm.
and it is our responsibility, like, and I stand by that 100%, is our responsibility to challenge white supremacy
Yeah.
and toxic masculinity, transphobia. It is our responsibility to stand as allies, and standing as allies doesn't mean to be like, oh, do you see, like, they're just so unstable that they're, no, it's like standing by, holding space for what a community needs in order to shift and heal, like you were saying.
Mhm.
Like our job as allies is to hold space, not to take up space. It's to hold space.
Mhm.
And that's very important to me. I'm very passionate about that.
Mhm. I
You
second
know?
that. I second
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
This chat has
Thank you.
filled my
Yes.
heart.
It's been amazing. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you
It's
so
so
much.
good.
I love it.
I don't understand people that think that women can't communicate, cannot love each other. I'm like,
Yeah.
these are my sisters. Like, what on earth? Irma, thank you.
Thank
Oh
you
my gosh.
so much.
No, thank
You
you.
should come more often.
I'd
Just
Yeah.
love to.
take a flight and come to be Unfiltered
Yes.
whenever.
I just want to
Yes.
say that it's an honor. I'm as a Salvadorian in the diaspora and creating choreographic work that is based on Salvadorian narratives, lived experiences, and identity. I'm so passionate about Salvadorian people with all of our fractures and things that we need to learn.
Mhm.
I'm so honored to be here sitting with you both, to see the work that you're doing, to hear your politics and your discussions. I feel so fucking proud, and I'm so honored to have sat this evening with you. Like, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Irma.
It
Thank
feels
you.
really nice. So.
Yeah. Welcome to Be Unfiltered. Fuck. Thank you, Irma.
Yeah.
And this is your home. Be Unfiltered is your home. And we need more Salvadoran voices like yours, of strong, empowered women who have found their voices through the struggle, not through the fake positivity. And it's just great to have you here. So this is your home. Anytime you're back in El Salvador, you can come find
Oh,
us.
thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
If you want to follow Irma, tell us your IG so they can follow you.
Yes, my IG is South of Your Feet. Yeah, South of Your Feet.
South of your feet.
Yeah.
Maria, your IG.
You can find me on both Instagram and TikTok as MF Bruson.
And you can find me on Instagram and TikTok as Vanessa Tomasino, 1N, 1S. It's great to see you guys. Episode 21, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.